What up, YouTube Live? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment. Is this too bright for you? Might be too bright. Okay, let's see here. How about now? Good? Okay, so I wanna. You are not fans of comedy, perhaps? Louis C.K. is one of the biggest names in comedy. He's one of the most respected names in comedic world. And he's also an actor, writer, producer. His show Louis, I believe, won Emmy Awards once for Best Comedy. Basically, he is one of the funniest guys on the planet, and I'm a big fan of Louis C.K.'s stand up. Um, New York Times article or New York Times expose um, revealed, or I should say, outed Louis C.K. as also a perv, unfortunately. I believe it was. I don't want to go into details, but I believe it was five women who accused Louis C.K. of requesting them to watch him Masturbate. These women were his co-workers or colleagues, either in the production company or on the set. I'm not sure about. I'm quite blurred about the details, but I'm pretty sure it's about him requesting these women to watch him masturbate in front of them. And that is gross, first of all. Ew. I don't care if you're, Louis C.K. or freaking Prince Albert, whatever. It's gross, man. Nobody wants to see you whip out your penis in public. I mean, penis itself is quite ugly. And I'm an owner of a penis. I should know. Whipping it out, let alone masturbate in front of people, is not a way to turn on women at all, uh, or turn on anybody. So these allegations turn out to be true. Why or how? Because Louis C.K. himself released a statement admitting guilt. Um, and this is very, first of all, I don't want to give too much credit to Louis, but at the same time, well, it kind of, yeah, good for him to admit that he was guilty, as opposed to Harvey Weinstein, who did an apology letter, but at the same time he's like, oh, but I'm giving this money for the effort to go against NRA. Okay, that's not an apology. You're trying to, make yourself look, how do you call it, justified, or hey guys, I know I'm bad, but I'm not that bad, kind of like that. It's like, dude, that's not an apology. That is not an apology. Just like Kevin Spacey's like, oh, I'm sorry if I may have done that to Anthony Rapp, but hey, I'm gay. I was like, what does that have to do? What does coming out as gay have to do with the real story that you mistreated this boy, freaking Kevin Spacey? So I don't want to give too much credit to Louis C.K., but you gotta at least hand it to him that at least he's saying that, hey, yeah, those are true. I did it. Um, and let me read to you an excerpt of what he said here, and I quote: "These stories are true. At the time, I said to myself that what I did was okay because I never showed a woman my dick without asking first, which is also true. But what I learned later in life, too late, is that when you have power over another person, asking them to look at your dick isn't a question, it's a predicament for them. The power I had over these women is that they admired me, and I wielded that power irresponsibly. I have been remorseful of my actions, and I try to learn from them." So it's a long statement. I don't want to go too thorough about it, but he admitted guilt. He basically said, "Yeah, I did it, and I regret it." So do we give Louis C.K. a pass? No, of course not. No, 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 no. Every action has its consequences, and so unfortunately for Louis C.K., those consequences is that it seems that his career, just like Kevin Spacey's, is now officially finished. How, you might ask? Well, earlier today, The Orchard. Okay, this is one of the many fallouts. First off, the Orchard, which is the distributor company that was supposed to distribute or release Louis C.K.'s latest film, which he directed, called "I Love You, Daddy." Even the title is a little, "I Love You, Daddy." Um, the Orchard decided not to release the movie at all. The Orchard still owns the rights to distribute it, but the movie is now shelved indefinitely. Who knows if it will see the light of day. Here's what's interesting. I was actually invited by the Orchard more than a few times to screen this film. I couldn't go because there's always scheduling conflict. I wanted to, but like, oh, there's another event happening that time, or there's this interview that I have to do. So now I guess I'll never get to screen it at all. I'll never get to watch this black and white indie film directed by Louis C.K. So that's one fallout. The other fallout is that the New York premiere for I Love You, Daddy has been canceled, scrapped. Um, Also, Louis C.K.'s appearance on Stephen Colbert, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, that's also scrapped. That's also canceled, obviously, because Stephen Colbert's gonna be asking for asking those questions as opposed to asking about the movie, and rightfully so. So another fallout is that FX has been a good home to Louis C.K. Louis C.K.'s production company called let's see here, Pig Newton, produced some of FK's popular series like Baskets and Better Things. Um, Better Things starred Louis' old collaborator in the old comedy series Louis. I forgot her name. She's very fantastic, by the way. Um, so FX terminated their relationship with Louis C.K. to the point where FX Network also said in their statement that Louis will no longer receive any compensation or royalties or of any type of profit from the shows that he produced. So they are really, 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 really distancing themselves from Louis C.K. Because just like Kevin Spacey and Brett Ratner and all those guys, once the allegations come out and they turn out to be true, especially in this case, Louis C.K. actually admitted those things, like for reals. He said, "I'm guilty." Then they become a toxic brand. Toxic brand means you can't sell it. You can't, nobody's gonna be watching that shit because your name's associated with it. If you're a toxic brand, major studios and everybody, people in power, will distance themselves from you. And this is what's happening right now. Let's see what else here. Netflix also decided to cancel or scrap their upcoming Louis C.K. stand-up special, because Netflix is a great outlet or channel for comedians. HBO does also the same thing also, stand-up specials. I like HBO's better basically, but kudos to Netflix to step up to the game. That whole thing with the stand-up special by Chris Tucker was pretty funny. But back to Louis C.K. Netflix canceled Louis C.K. stand-up special and also TBS animated comedy that Louis C.K. produced called The Cops. They have also shut down production because of this whole thing. And they're going to review the situation. I don't know what that means, review. Probably that's just a polite way of saying we're gonna slowly but surely cancel the show anyway. They don't want to have to. They don't want to. They don't want anything to do with Louis C.K. brand whatsoever, and I don't blame them. So those are the fallouts. Poor connection. Yep. By the way, I need to bring my computer to Apple Store, to the Genius Bar, because I think it has some malware in it. It's been acting up like crazy. Like the cursor is behaving erratically. Even the keyboard, anytime I press a button, it doesn't show up, or anytime I press a button or a letter, it doesn't show up to be that function or that letter on the screen. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to go to Apple Store and do this thing. In conclusion, because there's a poor Wi-Fi connection going on right now, um, I want to conclude with this. It's disheartening, man, because I've been a big fan of Louis C.K. for a while. I'm a big I'm a believer. I believe in God, but I love Louis C.K.'s atheism jokes. Not because I'm trying to disprove him, ha ha ha, that's funny because it's not true. No, no, no. His atheism jokes are funny because every time I hear it, it's like, ah, it, it makes sense. I know it sounds crazy. Why am I, championing or complimenting but if you the way Louis C.K. puts it, if I were in their shoes, I was like, okay, I understand why people would dismiss God, and I don't blame that at all, because Louis C.K. puts it, in a very brilliant way, and I love those jokes, man. The one that's just going to the heart of it, not necessarily about walking on eggshells. He's just Louis C.K. is unapologetic in his jokes. Um, yeah, I'm like, if I hear his atheism jokes, like, yeah, if I see it from that perspective, of course I won't believe in God. The way he puts it, it's just so funny. He's just like, oh, it's so disheartening that all these sexual allegations and sexual misconducts are happening to the people that you admire, to your heroes. It's so disappointing. It's such a letdown when your heroes turn out to be monsters, or predators. But kudos to FX for cutting ties with Louis C.K. Kudos to Netflix. Kudos to TBS. Of course, you can probably argue, well, that's from a profit standpoint. Who knows if they're actually from a morality standpoint? But hey, but still, cutting ties is the right thing to do. Um, Universal Pictures and Illumination, the forces behind the Secret Life of Pets franchise, they too have fired Louis C.K. from the voice role for the sequel, The Secret Life of Pets 2. And that's devastating because devastating for Louis C.K. because the first movie scored more than $875 million at the box office worldwide. That's $875 million. It's impressive. And he voiced Jack Russell Terrier named Max. That's what he says here in the first movie. So he won't be coming back for the sequel, and that's too bad for Louis C.K. But hey, that's what you get for whipping out your penis and asking women to watch you masturbate. I was like, dude, come on. What the hell? And we already had this discussion before. The powerful manipulating the powerless, and that's what Louis C.K. is pointing out, or used as his excuse in his statement of guilt or admission of guilt. But again, actions do have their consequences. So it seems that Louis C.K.'s career is now finished. I remember when the Mel Gibson scandal happened. Remember that? And we wonder like, oh, that's it. He's done. But now years later, he's coming back. I guess stronger than ever. I don't know if Louis C.K. and Kevin Spacey will ever recuperate career wise, because it seems like everybody's drawing the line. When it comes to Mel Gibson's anti-Semitism was bad, but apparently this one is worse. The whole sexual thing. So yeah, we won't know. We won't know. Maybe this is it. Maybe Louis C.K. will only be doing YouTube stuff or vlog, not to belittle YouTube because I'm part of it too. Last but not least, I want to say, guys, what Louis C.K. said in his statement. Again, I want to reiterate it. If you have come to the point of success and power and influence in whatever aspect or business, whatever facet of life, remain humble. Stay humble. Because that power, that influence, that money can get to you, man. It can, sip in, and then you start thinking like, oh, I can get away with anything. No, don't start thinking that way. So make sure you remain humbled, you remain grounded, no matter how much money you have, or no matter how powerful or influential you become. Especially if you are gatekeepers meaning people who can make or break somebody's career. Make sure it's make sure you make it be about the art, about the talent, and about the storytelling. Don't use that as a manipulation tactic, because it's gonna bite you right back in the butt. Maybe not now, but eventually. Like, all these women are coming out, and good for them for coming out, for speaking out. Finally, we're in a culture and a climate where everybody's courageously coming out and stepping forward and saying no more, no more, whether it's guys or girls. I encourage this, so that the the predatory culture in this business can come to an end, and we can make it be about the storytelling again. And that's about it. That's it. Those are my rants for tonight about Louis C.K. and the fallouts, and everybody that has cut ties with him because of this scandal. Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and please subscribe to my channel. And if you can support me, please support me, and please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. Every little help helps. Go to patreon.com/ramascreen and become my patrons today. Let's rock this.